Thank you for everyone to tuning in to People Spotlight. I'm here with Nate Byers and Coltan Owens. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Yeah, it's pretty good up in here.
I'm doing good as well. I don't know what that was about, Owens, but so I know what is your fight called again?
And mixed martial arts, MMA.
There you go. So I know your guys are both prepping for the big fight in March. Is that right?
Yeah.
I want to start off with how long have you guys been friends and how did you guys meet? Because I got both of you here.
Okay, so I'll start that off. So actually, it was like my junior year of high school, and his brother talked me to join in the National Guard. And so I met him through that and started fighting with them at Victory. And so just kind of like through high school and everything.
Yeah, during high school, I was pretty much a hermit. I didn't really talk to anybody. I was super, closed off. And then as soon as I met Cole, my brain flipped. I became so, I guess I got out of my shell. He helped me out of my shell, basically. So.
Okay. So who got into fighting first?
Oh, definitely me and my brother. My dad has taught me and my brothers how to fight since we were 4 years old. So ever since that, I think he just started it off as kind of a self-defense thing, what to do in a dangerous situation. But then I guess he got addicted to it, and then so us starting off, it was just kid boxing and stuff like that, and just how to throw a punch. And then we got into wrestling, middle school, and then after that we just kind of got addicted to it, and so we just wanted to keep fighting more and more. So.
And how did you get Coltan into it then?
So, I guess I'm trying to remember, because when we got Cole in,
It was so it started off more whenever I was joining National Guard, so it's hey, this is an extra activity to move forward and get in better shape and whatnot. And then so we started doing that in 2017, into 2017.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And then I fell in love with it because I was getting into fights at high school and stuff, getting kicked out for that. And so I'd be throwing hands my junior or my freshman and sophomore year and everything. They're like, hey, look, this is a productive way of how to fight. Yeah. And so
pretty much for a good matter instead of thrown out of high school for it.
So I wouldn't keep getting kicked out.
But I'm sure it's a serious thing now. You really got into it, and you're telling me you guys are facing D1 colleges and stuff or D1 athletes in a way, and
yeah, because everyone they have their own specific strong suit and what they're good at. Some are doing BJJ, some are doing college wrestling and everything and whatnot. And so with me, I never doing wrestling in high school and stuff because I played basketball. So when I got into it, I'm just learning the basics of everything and trying to put those together to go against these bigger other athletes.
Okay. So getting more in detail with this fighting, how does your training look for both of you guys? How do you guys train?
All right. Yeah. So, well, it's different. It's different for everybody because there's different weight classes.
Of course.
We're fighting at 135. That's bantamweight, and so that means we're usually walking around without our diet and everything like that. We're usually walking around maybe 160 at the most. Maybe some people are different, 155, even 145. That's how they walk at. But since we're starting off so heavy now and cutting it down all the way down to 135, our diets are very intense, We're still eating 3 meals a day. 3 meals a day, but it's just very healthy, grilled chicken, eggs, just a lot of protein, but lean protein too. And then it's constantly working out, training every single day. So we go to the gym at 6 o'clock and we train for 2 hours, striking, BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And, we're just constantly grinding the gears, working off the rust, stuff like that.
Okay.
So like the typical day, we'll like wake up around 7:30 and stuff, and then we'll go eat our breakfast, and we usually do like a little cardio workout and stuff. Just like yesterday, we woke up, ate our eggs, did a little cardio and stuff. Then we spent about 3 hours in our living room with his dad, actually, who has a fight coming up too, who's a pro fighter. And like did about 3 hours of training just grappling. Then we went on another run for about a mile. And then after that, we came, ate our lunch, then we went to the gym for another 2 hours to work out on striking, just to wake up and do it again. So it's very much a like constant like job that we're working towards.
And I know I probably should have mentioned this at first. Can you explain to the listeners what this is, mixed martial arts, what you guys do, like in detail on how this all works and how the fights work and stuff?
So I'll try to like do my best of how to really. So, like, I don't know. Some people, it's like that adrenaline rush. Like how most people would play football, how most people would play basketball, any of those. Even those wrestlers too. Like, it's for entertainment. It's a sport. So I don't know. I guess I don't know. Like, I don't know how to like really.
So are you asking like what the mixed martial arts is?
Yes.
Okay.
So
like explain how
mixed martial arts is a bunch of different, styles of fighting put together. That's why it's called mixed martial arts. Martial art, karate, boxing, Muay Thai, kickboxing, MMA is all of those put together in your own style, in the ring, in the octagon. And it's super fun, like some people out there are huge, 300 pounds, super heavyweight, and they can still somehow, do a freaking kick, to the head, and it's like super fancy and everything. But yeah, so anybody out there, who does, karate, wrestling, or, jiu-jitsu, anything like that, like, I don't know, I guess MMA is just mixing it up. You'll go in the octagon, you'll go from striking, you start off standing up, you throw a couple of punches. But if you got a guy who doesn't really like to throw punches, maybe he's not too good at it, or maybe he gets scared. I don't know. Maybe he's like, oh crap, this guy's a lot bigger, a lot stronger than I am. So I'm going to take it to the ground. I'm going to wrestle. I'm going to take him down, maybe use a little judo to take him down. And then they'll use wrestling, they'll use Brazilian jiu-jitsu to, submit them, choke them out, armbar, I don't know, anything.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically just like taking your specific style of what you prefer and mixing it together. Because like at the gym for Victory here in Joplin we train at, it's mixing BJJ, Muay Thai, and kickboxing. And that's like our main strong suit. And then we add in other stuff, other styles that we meet along the way. But we have like our specific set that we feel comfortable in. And then we just train on that.
Okay. I kind of get an idea too, and I'd never really seen it in person yet. I definitely seen it on TV, but I'm sure it's just like football. It takes a lot of dedication, training stuff. Like you just can't go out of the ordinary and just say you can just kick someone or fight someone.
Yeah.
So how does that work with where you guys train at and stuff? Do you guys get your own coaches, or how does that all work?
So basically we have like a couple main coaches, head coaches, like his dad, Frank Byers, TJ Britton, and Sam Robertson. And they're all really great fighters and stuff. And Sam and TJ and Frank are pro fighters. And so we have those main ones. And there's little ones that's been doing it for a while and stuff that understand. So it's basically like a ring, like you have your highest level that's teaching you and stuff. And then we train everybody, the basics. And then we constantly train over different things like together. So we have like our three main coaches, and then just like throughout the gym, we help each other out.
Yeah, like my dad's been coaching me and my brothers, since we were 4 years old, and like he got his coaching license because he wanted us to start doing like these boxing tournaments and stuff like that. And so, and I guess that's how he got addicted to it, was because he's like, well, I'm an official coach now. might as well see what they can do with it. And yeah, so like at that gym at Victory, TJ and my dad, they basically work together. They give us, schedules, what we do when we start off the day, what to eat, basically for our diets, that's why we bring our jug of waters with us. We got to drink a gallon of water a day, because we're constantly burning it off and stuff. So, yeah. And, Sam Robertson, he's an intense coach. Like
one of the most intense people. Yeah. Like one of the most intense people I've ever met. Like this man, like wakes up, trains, goes to work, then trains, then goes trains, and goes home, sleeps, trains. Like
oh my god.
Like this man, like he hasn't. I think he told me he hasn't touched McDonald's since like 2012. Like this dude just eats the healthiest that you can. Like.
So that's a role model for everybody else you see.
Yeah.
But I mean, that sounds impressive. I mean, even with coaches that you described, it made it sound like it's a really good place to.
Oh yeah, Victory is super fun. Like, there's like gyms you hear of, like an MMA gym. You hear of a fighter. Oh, I go to this gym, and I don't know why, but most people, I guess, would think like, oh, like the Rocky movies. It's really like gross. It's like intense. Just a bunch of sweaty dudes and stuff. And of course, at Victory, there's that too. But it's like, it's nice. It's a relaxed environment at the same time. People have fun. We have fun with it. We're not one of those gyms where, we get into our own octagon/ring to train and, spar and stuff. And when we spar, we're not like beating the crap out of each other, because that's not what we believe in. We don't think that we can learn that way.
Of course.
Because we don't want to get our our partner, our friend, one of our training partners, like brain damage before a fight, because that's not good. So we take care of our training partners and stuff like that. So it's really fun. It's a nice, relaxed environment.
Yeah, and to add on to that, like, it's not just a gym where you go there to look to compete and stuff. We have multiple people that go there, especially females and stuff, that's looking just to learn how to do self-defense, just like in case they get into one of those bad situations, that like they know these different moves and how to get out of it. So we train it from a competitive and a real life situation, to where if someone comes up and grabs you from behind in a fight, this is what you're gonna do. But in a real life situation, this is what you're gonna do to get away from them, to throw them over you, to get them to the ground for you to get away. It's like we train like for competition and for like real life situations.
So if people are wondering about Victory and stuff, what are like the age ranges, and do they do mixed genders of female and male in this?
The age range, I believe it's start off for like grappling and striking at 6 and stuff, and then we all go there together. It's guys and girls. We train together and stuff. It's like a very family oriented kind of thing. Like we're very much family, like going at it and together. And
yeah, because it's also part ministry too. It's part church, because TJ Britton, he's also a pastor and everything. So that's what. And also another thing, like I was adding on, it's very relaxed. It's very family oriented. Especially when we're training. There's guys and girls there, and of course TJ, when he's coaching, he's like, oh, a female. Let's find the nearest other female around, probably same size. That way they can work together, And then so it's very family oriented.
So, how many fights have you guys been in ever since you joined this, or roughly around?
So for me, it's gonna be my first, like, I'm making my debut MMA fight. So like last year, I had a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament and stuff that I competed in. But as far as fighting goes, this is my first like fight, so it's my debut making right now.
Yeah, this will be my third MMA fight. Of course, throughout the years, I've done probably 12 boxing fights, golden gloves, silver gloves, whatever you want to call it, the junior boxing stuff. I've done over 20 plus jiu-jitsu tournaments. I've got the medals and swords hanging up on my wall. And then MMA, though, as far as MMA, this is my third. So my first fight I won first round. But I felt like I still needed more to, like, I guess, better myself and prove upon. And then my second fight, I really needed to improve. I lost that one. I lost my second fight. I got choked out. I guess, I don't know. I don't like making excuses. Like, I don't believe in excuses. But, like, I know I needed to do better in that second fight. Like, I needed to train a lot more. So this third fight, I am definitely going all out on the training. I am preparing.
So since you've done a fight too, how do you get yourself mentally prepared right moments before the fight, like minutes before?
Oh yeah, for me, everybody's different. You know, some people like to like relax. You know, lay down. Like Sam Robertson, like what we were saying. Sam Robertson, you'd think he'd listen to like heavy metal or something before a fight. No, he takes a nap. Like, he is so intense on his training and everything, and dude's a robot. Dude's a machine. But, like, it's so weird when he told me that right before a fight, he always takes a nap. He takes a nap, and then when he hears the crowd roaring and stuff, he looks at his watch, he looks at the time, he goes, oh, that's my time. He gets up, and that's when he's just already ready to go. It's so weird. But for me, how I prepare, I guess, I don't know. Like, my first fight, I kind of just, like, I kept myself loose. I warmed up. Mentally, though, I was just basically like, all right, here's my game plan. How do I take this guy down? What's his striking going to be like? You know, I was basically preparing for the actual fight. My second fight, I was super distracted. I'm like, where are we going to eat afterwards? And I was like, I wasn't even really, like, worried about the fight. And that's probably where it got me. That's why it got me that L. But this third fight, I don't know. You know, usually when I prepare for a fight, I'm, like, very focused on how I'm going to do it. I'm very tactical about it, you know. Like, all right, if this happens, I'm going to do this. You know, if he tries to take me down, I know how to stop it, you know, stuff like that.
And a question on top of that for both of you, do you guys watch film of other guys on how they fight?
Oh yeah, that's part of our training schedule too. Like my dad and TJ, that's another tactic for us. Like, they want us to research our opponents. As soon as we get a name for our opponents, we're like, all right, here we go. We search them on Facebook. We search them on YouTube, Tapology.com. We go on there, and we look up their name. We look up their record, how many fights they've had, how many they've won, how many they've lost. We look at YouTube, and we watch their fights, what their style is, and everything like that. So,
yeah, not just like our opponents either, though. Like, part of our training schedule is we look up like different fighters that we want to like take stuff from.
True.
So like Canelo Alvarez, like his head movement is ungodly. Like, this dude's wild. And so like we try to like look how he's doing this, how he's moving his feet, the footwork that's going with it. And then like I look up Conor McGregor because that's my favorite fighter and stuff. So I want to model some of my fighting technique and style after that. Who was that other guy that your dad's having us look up? There was
Cody Garbrandt.
Cody Garbrandt.
Colby Covington.
Yeah, Colby Covington. Like, just like a bunch of different like professional UFC, Bellator fighters and stuff. Like, watching the way that they do things, it's like watching a game film. Like, you see a football play and stuff that you like, that you want to alter a little bit, and then add it into your arsenal, add it into your playbook. That's how we do. We see, the way he moved his feet, the way he took this angle, the way he did this. We want to add that into our arsenal so it looks good on us, and we can like improve and upgrade on our fighting styles. So most definitely, we definitely look at like other fighters to like figure some stuff out.
And how long do you usually guys just take and look at their film? Like, do you just like write down every note, like every tactic, or
like how long it takes? Like from 30 minutes to 3 hours, just like depends. Because whenever it's almost like an addiction. Because once we get into it and started, we just run with it, and the next thing we're like, holy crap! It's been 3 hours since we started talking. We started like watching these different videos. We'll get on YouTube and we'll click from this video to that video to that video, and yeah, so like you definitely gotta love the sport in order to do this, because like it doesn't feel like work to us. This is something that we love. It's our passion, and we're going head first into it. So most definitely.
And how hard is, or how fast or how hard is it to find a guy's weak spot in those videos?
It depends.
Yeah. I've noticed in a lot of like fights and stuff, especially in my own fights, you can tell when a guy's rocked, when a guy's weak, when he's practically asleep, standing up. My first fight, what was it? Yeah, I like hit the dude in the face with a cross, and then the guy's eyes like widened, like, super wide, and his pupils dilated.
Dang.
And I was like, oh, there it is. I'm like, he's rocked. Like, he's seeing stars. I better go after him. That's that click in my brain that says, you better attack with everything that you got right now. And so every time we're watching these fighters on YouTube and stuff like that, you can, if you know what you're doing in a fight, you can tell. Like, when a guy's probably holding on to his ribs with his hand, he's not really blocking his face at all, or maybe he's like has a small little like limp when he's moving around in the cage, anything like that. It's pretty easy to tell when you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, and I noticed, especially like the more my training goes, because before I got into this, I'd watch a fight and they'd be on the ground. I'd be like, they're just hugging each other. What are they doing? I'd be bored. But now I look at it, I'm like, dude, look at the way he escaped that. Look at the way he moved and turned this move into that. Look at the way his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is working on that. So like the more you know about it, the more like you notice the little details and stuff, and you're like, holy crap, he just escaped him out that way. Like, instead of just seeing like, oh, they're just hugging each other, whatever, it's like I'm seeing like the game plan, like the roadmap of how they're moving to these different moves. And so yeah, so it's pretty wild.
Because I don't know who listens to this either or how far range, but you guys have some noticeable weaknesses that I mean you later on see probably in your film.
Yeah, like we see stuff. I'm not gonna mention on it just because like I don't want
Hearing
this.
I just
And
want
then
to see
being
how far you would answer that.
yeah, and then being like, but definitely like it's like Monday morning quarterbacking. Like we'll video ourselves sparring and stuff, video ourselves training. Then we'll look at it and be like, well, we need to improve on this footwork. We need to improve on this specific aspect. Like, so we definitely look back, tweak, fix, and everything. So. Yeah, we'll record ourselves and stuff, but as far as I'm gonna go on that.
Yeah. I don't blame you either. Because if someone got a hold of this, they would use that as advantage.
Yeah, for sure.
So, how does your guys' events get scheduled? Your fights get scheduled?
So usually, we're like, even when we're not training for a fight, we're at the gym anyway, just to like keep improving on stuff, even when we're not training for a fight. So when we're in the gym, maybe TJ sees something that he likes, or maybe even my dad, and so he calls and they come up to us and they say, hey, do you want to fight? And we're like, of course, let's do it, when, where, stuff like that. And then he goes, all right, I'm gonna talk to this guy, I'm gonna talk to a bunch of people, let's see who can get you a fight. And then, of course, COVID, for the past year and everything, of course we'd have fights scheduled. And then, we get to the name part of the fight, like the training and stuff like that. Like we know who our opponent is going to be. And then all of a sudden it gets canceled and we're like, crap, know.
So like real quick, let me add on that. So last year I had a Muay Thai fight scheduled. Me and Nate both did, and we were cutting weight. I was walking around 155. I was at 139. It was a week before the fight and stuff, and then COVID cancels it. And so you just put on all the work and everything. It's big sad and stuff, but the good little part of it, what was funny was as soon as we got the call, we're like, dang it, we're not gonna fight. Then like 5 minutes later, we're like, burgers and cookies. We're like, let's go. And so like we straight up went to Brahms and got some food. But yeah, so like at any moment in the fight game, like your fight could be scheduled or canceled. So we're constantly training, preparing year round. Even when we don't have a fight like that we're preparing for, we're constantly at the gym Monday through Thursday, going hard and stuff. But yeah, so like we're worried because COVID happened. This like still going on. This fight may get canceled, but we're just like taking all precaution stuff, hoping that it won't.
And Yeah, as you mentioned COVID too, I completely forgot about that. How was that year for you guys? I mean, for after March and stuff, how did your training and all that look?
So our gym actually got shut down from like April to August and stuff. So we'd still like do little training sessions at our house and stuff because we just love the sport. Like even if we weren't looking to fight, we just want to do it just because it entertains us and we have fun. But yeah, so it changed that up. And then with COVID, like it shut down. Like I had like 4 fights that were supposed to be scheduled last year that kept getting canceled and stuff. And so COVID's really affected it, especially last year. And so, yeah.
So your dad was pretty much saying, "Oh, go get the neighbor's scarecrow, and we're gonna practice on that."
Basically, he's like, "You see that kid walking down the street? Let's go fight him real quick."
Tell your dad you knocked out a kid 2 minutes later.
Like my training came in successful.
So I know Colton, you mentioned to me that you're fighting a D1 college fighter. What's your mind at right now when you saw that?
Yeah, so it's not like our opponents aren't 100% yet, but he's in the talks and stuff. But definitely like it's just looking at the aspect and the game plan and stuff. And so I actually have a couple of wrestlers at our gym who went to Pennsylvania State and was D1 champions and stuff. So I'm definitely working with them, trying to figure out all the aspects. What's the collegiate like mind in wrestling? What are their moves going to be like? How are they going to think about the fighting stuff? So when I like to prepare and everything. So because what I was told is you won't rise to the level of occasion, you'll rise to your level of preparedness. So whenever I see something like this guy is an amazing striker, I'm going to watch videos, I'm going to focus my striking, I'm going to get my striking to a T so that I level up, and my preparedness is right there. So definitely whenever I find out what this person's strong suit is, I'm going to exploit it and figure out how to exploit it.
Okay. And Nate, do you know who your opponent might be or who it's going to be?
Yeah, we have a name, but, the COVID, like it could get canceled, or this guy, it doesn't even have to be COVID related. It could be, this guy could get sick from something else and he could just cancel on me. It's very spontaneous at this stage of, for preparing for a fight, so, all the time you get a name and you're like, awesome, let's go, like search him up. What is his style, everything like that, and then maybe like 2 days later or a month later, he's like, nope, I don't want to fight no more. He cancels, he flakes out, or anything. Maybe something happens, So we do have a name for me now, but I just don't want to say it yet because anything can happen.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So
this is circumstances.
Yeah, so that's why we're kind of like beating around the bush on it and everything, because until like this fight is 1,000% in stone, we're already putting the pictures up over Facebook of the guys and stuff, of these are the matchups. We always keep it under wraps just in case it falls through.
Yeah.
I get that. I understand that. And on top of like people canceling stuff, onto injuries, like if you get called out for a concussion or something after your match or something like that, how long do you guys have to wait to train or do anything? Because NFL has like that rule of 1 week and stuff like that. So I'm trying to remember because my brother actually had a fight, and he bad time, just he got knocked out, and they gave him like this paper afterwards because they like as soon as the fight was over, of course he went to the doctor that was on standby right next to the cage. And he looked at him and everything. They're like, yup, he's concussed. He was out. And so they basically gave him some ice and was like, hey, because he was good enough to walk, of course, so he got up, but of course he still went out. And so the doctor was like, look, 6 months, man. 6 months. You can't fight until 6 months. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So... yeah.
That's
like,
insane.
Yeah, try not. That's why we're so important on keeping our hands up and head movement, how to defend ourselves while we're fighting, because getting knocked down is a serious thing sometimes. Sometimes it's not as bad as others. Sometimes you're just like, whoa, I'm seeing stars, and then other times you're blacked out, like, and then you wake up like a whole freaking day later, and you don't even remember what happened, so yeah, it's bad.
Because my brother had the same thing in football, and it took him a minute to realize where he was at.
Oh yeah. And of course I've been in there before too, not in any one of my fights, but of course training. I was in the gym one day, and of course, they said, let's do some light sparring. And I was like, all right, I got to get my cardio up. Let's do it. Oh, man, this dude was huge, too.
Oh, my gosh.
He rocks my head so bad. And I was just like, I was seeing stars. And then, like, my vision, it's like it shrinks, and like you just have that black silhouette surrounding your eyes, and it's like, and you're like, whoa, and you can't even stand up straight, and you're just kind of and you're like stumbling. Oh man, yeah, it's bad. So I know how it feels, and so yeah,
it's a weird moment whenever you get rocked, but you like the fight's not over until like it's called, so you get rocked and stuff. You can't just quit right there. It's like you're dizzy, like your eyes are spinning stuff, but like you're still like moving your head, trying to keep fighting and stuff, trying to keep throwing back. So it's like a weird moment whenever you're like everything's just spinning in your head, but at the same time you're still just going back to your muscle memory. I'm gonna throw my jab at the very least, I'm gonna jab out. Like, it's just a very wild like thing that happens.
That's insane. I didn't realize it would be 6 months before you can actually come back from something like that. That's
like actually Conor McGregor, because in his fight he got rocked and knocked and stuff, and so he's actually on a 6-month suspension now.
Holy crap! Yeah, I never knew that. That shocked me. But we're pretty much at the end right now. I mean, but before I sign off, before we all go, I want you guys tell the viewers, the listeners, where your guys' place at, so they can probably come and join too with you.
Okay, so like where the venue and everything's at?
Yes.
Okay.
So, wait, the venue for our fight?
No, I meant but no, where you guys train.
Oh,
so
okay. Victory Sports and Ministry right here in Joplin. Anybody that goes to Olive Garden often, Steak and Shake, Sam's Club, right there on Hammonds Boulevard. It's right there. So yeah, and the gym is open from, isn't it? They open up at 10, right? Yeah. 10 in the morning and then they close at 9. So yeah, come anytime. I think they're closed on Sundays though. So yeah, are disciplined, and if you stay at it, you're consistent for 2 whole weeks straight, you will get good, you will see progress, and you'll learn to love it. Because how I started off when I was freaking 4 years old, and my dad was basically, beating the dead horse, and I was a complainer. I was like, Dad, I don't want to do this. And so, yeah, so you're wanting to start off, just have discipline, have patience, and just commit all the way to it if you truly want to do it.
Yeah, and what I'll say is, like, most people, when you ask them, like, what's the hardest part of fighting and stuff, they'll say, like, oh, maybe keep your hands up, maybe getting hit, getting used to getting hit, throwing your hands, maybe the wrestling. Not what his dad's told me, what multiple coaches have told me now, is the hardest part about becoming a good fighter is showing up. Because even the ones that's like, I'm going to take tonight off, and then they stay home and you go, you learn that new combo, you learn that new move, even if you don't feel it, if you're not 100% and stuff, but you just showing up, you're learning something that they did and that you will have over them. So if you want to become a good fighter and a great fighter, the hardest part is just every day being like, having that commitment and being like, I'm going to the gym. Nothing's going to stop me from going to the gym. Whether I have to take it a little bit slower today, whether I have to do this or that, as long as you're showing up, you're going to get better. You're going to progress.
Those are pretty good words. I want to thank you guys again for showing up, talking about, you're fighting. It's a big, huge thing that I don't think a lot of people around town really know about, not even here at Southern. And again, it was great to have you guys today.
Thank you.
And I want to thank all the listeners today. Thank you for tuning in People Spotlight. Stay tuned for the next one. Thank you so much.